Good morning. Thank you for joining me for my children's time. This morning, we are talking about mothers and other women who are important in our life, people that have helped us grow in our faith. And the first person I want to share with you is my mother. This is my mother, Phyllis. From an early age, I would watch my mother helping take care of other people. She was always cooking food to share with other people. She would bring it to their households when they weren't feeling well, and she would bring it to help feed the people at the homeless shelter that was near us. And she was always seeking ways that she could assist other people. And that was a great example to watch and to learn from. Some other women that were really important to me were my grandmother and my great aunt. This is Helen and Julia, and they were sisters, and they lived together for much of their life. One of the things that they did for me was that they would collect stories of faith, people that were experienced God and their faith growing in some way, and then they would share those stories by writing articles in a newspaper and share them to me. I had forgotten about that memory until Miss Susie reminded me of it the other day. She was telling me that her grandmother used to do the same type of thing for her. So they would, by sharing these stories, we would read other people's faith stories and learn from them. It's really important that we talk to each other about our faith stories. We can learn a lot from that. And that brings me to these people. These are my daughters. And even though they're my daughters and so younger than me, I have still learned from them as they grew up and grew in their faith journey. As they experienced different things at church, in their youth groups, and on their mission trips, they would come home and share those things, and I would see how it impacted their life. And that would make me think further about my own faith and what I was doing and what I was thinking. There are so many different women in our lives that can impact our own faith and how we grow in our faith and understanding of God. There are our mothers and our grandmothers and our aunts, our sisters, our friends, our teachers, even somebody that you don't really know, but you see them in a store or doing something kind and helpful to somebody else. So as we are celebrating this Mother's Day, today is a good day to talk to our friends and our mothers and our grandmothers and ask them to tell you stories. Tell you stories of their faith, or maybe even just tell you stories about their own mothers. Things about their own mothers that are their special memories. So go enjoy this Mother's Day, and then go enjoy time with the people you care about.
This is a story about my mom. My mom's always thought she wasn't very creative. But when I was a kid, we were supposed to go to my grandparents' house for Easter, and it was in New Jersey, and so it was a couple of hours away, and then there was a snowstorm. So we were supposed to be gone for about a week, and my mom had cleaned out the refrigerator, so there wasn't anything really to eat for Easter dinner. She found a couple of pounds of ground beef in the refrigerator, and she decided to make a meatloaf. So she made a meatloaf, and she shaped it so that there was a big lump and then a little lump, one for the body and one for the head, and covered it in mashed potatoes, and made long ears and whiskers out of carrots, and made an Easter bunny. And she put him in a little bed of broccoli, and then she dyed hard-boiled eggs after they had been shelled so that the eggs were all around the Easter bunny, and we could eat all of the eggs, and we could eat the broccoli, and we could eat the whole bunny. And everybody loved it so much that we would never ever let her again make a ham on Easter. We always had to have Easter bunny every single year, and my sister still makes it. So that's my mom, who thought she wasn't creative.
Two things that I really remember the most about my mom. One was that she was a woman of grace and courage. She faced some of life's really difficult challenges without complaint. She nursed two husbands and her own mother through illnesses at the end of their life, all while maintaining a household and continuing to run the ranch that I grew up on. She faced her own decline several years, again without complaint, making the best of things. And I always remember the grace with which she accepted those things that happened to her. The other thing I remember so much about her was her love of nature. As kids, we grew up with an ever-present terrarium on the breezeway of our house in Texas, and she stocked it with things like little animals like walking sticks, praying mantises. We always had butterflies hatching, the occasional snake. I remember a hognose snake she had in there, and teaching us to make it stand up so that it would spread out its hood and look like a cobra. And then if you didn't go away, it would fall down and play dead. Except if you turned it over on its back, it would flip back over so that you knew it wasn't really dead. And raising, baby animals, we always had pet deer, pet squirrels. We had a jackrabbit, a crow. Even in the last years of her life, I remember going down to visit her, and she walked out in front of her house with a Vortex bucket, and a bevy of half-grown quail came flying out of the bushes so that she could feed them. Now, I will also say that an hour or so later, she would be in the kitchen with a kitchen window propped open and her .22 shooting crows out of the pecan tree because they were eating all the pecans for the pies that she wanted to bake. So, there was sort of a little bit of a, I don't want to say a contradiction, but she did what needed to be done. I'll put it that way. So anyway, happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you and I miss you.